MOPS friends? Welcome to this week's MOPS meeting. I have enjoyed our meeting so much, so we're really excited to try a little bit different format this week. Next week, we will have dear friend and fellow MOPS mama Lauren Newman sharing a watercolor painting tutorial with us. I'm so thrilled about this. She has made the video using children's watercolor, so most of us probably have that laying around already. You'll need watercolor of some kind, a brush, a paintbrush, and cardstock. The picture we'll be making will be 4x6, so you can frame it and display it proudly, or you can even turn it into some happy mail and send to a friend to brighten their day. So this week, gather those supplies and be ready for a super sweet time together next time and an opportunity for some refreshing creative outlet. This evening is all about attempting to fight back the chaos and anxiety and find some rest. First, we have our dear friend and past Sanctuary MOPS coordinator, Sarah Jacob, to share with us a bit. She has also shared a Spotify playlist of worship music she's been listening to. I'll share it in the comments here.
Hi, ladies. Jennifer and Rachel had asked a few weeks ago if I had any encouragement to send. Go ahead and send it. And I felt pretty blank as far as that goes lately. And I realized, the things that I want to share with you all are all the wisdom nuggets that the counselors have sent our way. And I don't really have that because that's not who I am. So I thought, well, what's my encouragement? What's something that has met me and might meet you? And so I wanted to read scripture over you, and I wanted to pray for you and just encourage you to dig into some worship music if you can find a quiet moment. And I feel like as I read this, at any moment, a kid might come bursting through the door, but I'm going to go for it. So the passage that I was reading tonight that really met me is in Psalm 36, verses 5 through 8. Your love, O Lord, reaches to the heavens, your faithfulness to the skies. Your righteousness is like the mighty mountains, your justice like the great deep. O Lord, you preserve both man and beast. How priceless is your unfailing love. Both high and low among men find refuge in the shadow of your wings. They feast on the abundance of your house, and you'd give them drink from your river of delights. For with you is the fountain of life, and in your light we see light. My prayer for you is that God would embrace you in such a way that this quarantine situation would not just feel like you're locked away. This is not a Rapunzel situation where you're stuck, but that it would be a place of refuge. That in refuge, you're hidden, but you're nurtured. And I know you guys are doing the nurturing right now. So my prayer for you is that God would meet you in a nurturing way, that He would shelter you, and that you would feel that and know that in your spirit, in your mind, in your body. We're hearing a lot of self-help, get up and do this and go for a walk and do this and do that. And after a while, you kind of tune it out because you're like, sometimes I'm just coping. I'm just managing. And I had a couple days like that this week where I'm like, I'm just surviving here. And so out of that spirit of, I know what you're going through, I pray refuge in your heart, in your mind. And then I guess my encouragement would be the thing that meets me the most in times of uncertainty or in times of joy, in times of fear, whatever, is worship. And just let it soak a little bit in your heart. But just know that you're loved and know that I am not rocking this quarantine mom thing. So you don't have to either. And I joked with Jennifer and Rachel at the beginning. They're like, what would you encourage us with? And I'm like, well, early in the quarantine, the only encouragement I could come up with is don't have that second glass of wine because you'll have a headache tomorrow. So that's about all the wisdom I've got for you. So I love you guys. I'm praying for you. And just, Lord, I pray blessing over these women. I pray that you would give them energy and hope and life. I pray healing over their bodies, strength to their bodies, wisdom to their minds, I pray that judgment and fear would be far from them. And Lord, I pray your supernatural rest and refuge to them in Jesus' name, that you would provide every need they have, that they would let go of self-imposed anything self-imposed that's not of you. And Lord, that you would just hug them, draw them close in Jesus' name. He loves you. He loves you. He delights in you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Now let's all gather our hearts together and our faith together and pray. Dear Father, we are so grateful for the time we have together. Thank you for the gift of these women, for all the strength and grace they hold, and for all the parts of your character they show. Thank you for being our refuge. Thank you for taking care of us, nurturing us, even when, or especially when, we don't know how to take care of ourselves. You know all the spots in us that feel weird or sad or anxious, frustrated, lonely. You see them all and you care. You care about the tears and the hurt hearts and the exhaustion. You see us trying our best to hold it all together when it feels like the whole world is falling apart. Remind us that you hold us. I struggle to know what to pray. I don't know what to ask for because I don't know what would make it all better. But you do. You are always at work. Help us find you in the tiny, seemingly insignificant moments of our day. Also, can you just make our kids like a tiny bit cooler, chiller? Hold us close, Lord. Amen. Next, our very own Leanna Elias has made a video tutorial for a DIY professional mini manicure and pedicure. I have so been looking forward to this. My feet, y'all. I'll give everyone like 5 minutes to get your supplies together, so go grab whatever you need and we'll meet back here in 5 minutes. See you soon.
Your call comes like the morning breeze. You spread your wings and cover me. So underneath your shadow I will hide away, for there I found your shelter, and there I like to stay. Refuge, you're my refuge. When my world is shaking and nothing stands, I will hold on to your hand. Refuge, your call comes like the morning breeze. You spread your wings and cover me. So underneath your shadow I will hide away, for there I found your shelter, refuge. You're my refuge. When my world is shaking and nothing stands, I will hold on to your hand, refuge. Oh, refuge. You're my refuge. When my world is shaking and nothing stands, when my world is shaking and nothing stands, when my world is shaking and nothing stands, Lord, you're my refuge. He who dwells in the sacred place of the Lord Most High, he who dwells in the secret place of the Lord Most High will find us refuge. Find your refuge.
Hello, fellow mamas. Rachel has asked me to do an instructional video on how to do a mini pedicure on yourself while we're all at home in this quarantine. I'm actually going to start with a mini manicure because when my hands feel good, I feel better. And so I wanted to give you guys a few tips and tricks. I did nails for 17 years, retired when I had my daughter almost 18 months ago. I loved showing my clients, you know, how to do at-home care, and also I gave quite a few of them some hands-on things they could do once I was done doing their nails. So if you will bear with me, I have never done a instructional video before, and I also don't know how to edit videos, but Rachel thinks I can do it. So I'm not going to do polish on my fingers just because that's not going to happen today. And no makeup, hair not done, because that's how we roll in quarantine, right? Actually, that's how I roll a lot of times. Let's just be honest. So here we have my favorite things for doing a mini manicure. We've got a 180 nail file, and so it's a little bit coarser on the other side, but I'm going to stick with the 180 side. When you get a brand new nail file, it's really important to take another file and kind of buff the edges down so it's not super sharp. You don't want it cutting your cuticles. This is a 240 buffer, so it's pretty soft and spongy. We've got a shiner buffer. This is one of the best shiner buffers out there. Your nails will last, seriously, probably 2 weeks shiny. A straight edge nail clipper. So as you can see, no curve, which allows you a lot more control than with a regular nail clipper. I use the toenail clippers on fingers and toes. And this is a, I believe it's a 1/4 inch jaw. The jaw's the sharp nipper part. And these are cuticle nippers. You're gonna want an orange wood or birch wood stick. I prefer the wooden ones as opposed to metal, but you can use what you like. This is just lint-free gauze. So this is good if we were gonna polish. This is what you would want to use right before you polish. So this is a ginormous container because you know, I used to do this for a living. So this is actually available at Sally's, I believe. And then I just put it into a smaller container here.
And this is also what I use on heels when we do the callus remover on heels. So that's just a few of the basics. Okay, so when you are filing your own nails, I prefer to have them at this angle as opposed to this one, but do whatever that you're comfortable with. So when you are filing, you never want to saw back and forth. You want to start at the side here and just lightly bring your file around. And I prefer to do kind of a rounded edge. You don't want to go on top. You want to kind of stay just about at that angle, and just kind of round those edges. So whatever shape you want, whether it's square or rounded, I'm going to kind of just go through. We're just going to do one hand. Hopefully I have the phone at the right spot. As you can see, my cuticles are pretty crazy, so we will get to those in a minute. I know a lot of times when you go places, you get a manicure and they will soak your nails in hot soapy water. I have never loved that. I have never done that as a nail tech. And the reason for that is when nails are really soft, they're really brittle. And so you don't have as much control over when you're clipping them or filing them. They break very easily when they're wet and soft. So that's real basic. I didn't have a lot of filing to do on those. But what there is, and what we will find out in a little bit, is there's probably some junk underneath after you file them. I just take that and kind of go under real soft. And then I come back with the buffer and just kind of get those little shavings out from underneath. We are going to put on 1 drop on each nail, and this is the cuticle remover that I showed you, is the Blue Cross cuticle remover. So just going to rub that in. Very lightly. I'm going to show you at an angle like this. Is you just want to leave the stick on your nail bed, so you're not pushing up here on the skin. So this is always my problem now, as you can see. So I do have to give it a little bit more of a push there. The stuff is amazing, you guys. It does have lanolin in it, so if you know you have an allergy to lanolin, don't use that. There are plenty of good cuticle removers out there. This just happens to be my personal favorite. And you're not looking to cut all of that off, because that tends to lead more to hangnails than anything else. you can just kind of blot them on your towel. With the 240 buffer, so the very soft spongy kind, you're gonna lightly buff the top of your nail. And we're not looking to make it perfect. We're just gonna kind of see where it's got that dead skin on there. Just very lightly. Kind of round the edges off. And just go with the shape of your nail. And now we are going to pause, and I am going to go scrub my nails with the nail brush and soap and water just to get that cuticle remover off of there, and also it'll help kind of loosen up any dead skin that's kind of stuck on the nail bed. Okay, and here is the nail brush I was talking about. So soap and water, and you're just gonna scrub them, scrub, rinse and dry. So we're gonna take our cuticle nippers. And you guys, the idea is not to completely remove your cuticle, okay? You just want to get anything that's hanging around, any dry spots, a little bit of calloused edges. Now, be really careful not to cut yourself. Because I have some calluses around there, that's probably from years of using nail files, I will take the soft side of my file and just lightly go over that and kind of soften it up a little bit. And again, just gonna buff the remaining dry stuff off. And this 240 buffer, if you can find them online, this is called a sponge board. The shiner buffer, this one has two sides, so we're going to start with kind of the rougher side. This is not the perfect job, but hey. Okay, so I promised you I'd show you. So I am right-handed. Now this is my right hand that needs done by my left hand. And so I always give support. It just really helps to do that. And try moving the actual hand that you're filing. Because this is your right hand, or whichever hand, is your dominant, I'm actually moving that hand and not the file. I'm going to take my dominant hand and move it against the file. Okay, I seriously cannot believe that Rachel talked me into putting my toes on film so bad. Here we go. There are my amazing toes. Woohoo! Crazy long. Well, these are noticeably long. So you've got your straight edge toenail clippers, no curve. I am going to go pretty short because I like them very short. So when clipping your toenails, it is a really good idea to make as little snips. Instead of doing like, you don't want to do like the whole nail like that, because that can make them crack down your nail this direction. So you're actually just going to do little itty bitty clips, and the smaller your clip, the less filing that you will have to do. I prefer, with toenails, I prefer to get most of it with the toenail clippers and to not have to file anything. You guys, these are so long. It is awful. It is awful. Rachel, thank you for asking me to make this video, because I'm not sure when I would have done these. This one has always been a little bit hard. So everybody, y'all, we've all got different shaped nails. We've got things that we think are weird, but I promise you, I have seen it all, and nothing is weirder than the next thing. So don't be ashamed of your feet. Just throw some polish on them. Do what you can. Okay, so big toenails, ew, so gross. Like I said, this is long for me, but if this is a good length for you, you don't want to go so short that you're going to get an ingrown. So if this is a length that you like, you're just going to want to make sure you file straight across. And that might be a good length for you. And then you're done. So I'm really weird though, and I like them like really short. So that is what we're gonna do. Be careful not to go, you don't want to go into an angle at the corners, because that will give you ingrown. And just make sure the corners are not sharp. Okay, so that looks very rough and unfinished, and that's because it is, because we haven't done our cuticles. I am going to show you just how to do a dry pedicure, since a lot of you may not even have cuticle remover. We're just going to do a very quick job here, just barely pushing. Toenail cuticles tend to not grow as much as fingers. Little toenails are always kind of weird. Everybody's got them, you guys. They're all weird. So after you push them, you're just gonna take your buffer, kind of smooth them out. And sometimes I don't even, I mean, you can use the file if you need to. Just depends on, you know, if you were able to get those clips with the toenail clippers really well. So you can always go back over them. But a lot of times, you're able to just really take care of it with the buffer. You're going to take your file, and we're just going to be careful not to hit the nail bed like I just did. If you've got those rough calloused edges like I do around your nail, you guys, please make sure if you're using a brand new file that you have really buffed the edges of that file down. Otherwise, you are not gonna like me after that. So we can come back, whatever doesn't easily go away. We've still got our nail brush here. This one's actually probably a little damp from when I brushed my cuticles. Okay, so those are like polishable, but we're gonna go in. We're just gonna see if there's anything. You don't want any snaggers around. So, especially on the big toe. Oh, and yesterday I made sure to shave the like 4 hairs that grow on my toe. If you don't have that problem, then don't talk to me. But no, I'm just kidding. So you can always, let's see, make sure this is zoomed in. If those corners feel sharp to you, you can always just barely take the corner off with your nippers like that. And then see that awesomeness? Rachel, I cannot believe I'm doing this. Okay, so you're just gonna take and just kind of take that chunk off right there. So I get a lot of dead skin in that area. A lot of dead skin, you guys, will just come up with the buffers and the nail brush, believe it or not. So you can take your file a little bit. These are pretty much, I mean, those are polishable, right? They don't have to be perfect. Don't put oil on if you're going to polish them. I think I've got some dry skin in here. So I am going to walk you through getting rid of some calloused spots for you. And yeah. So okay, guys, I've moved into the bathroom because I was not about to file my calluses on my bed. That's gross. What you can do is you could always give yourself a little hot foot soak or with a hot wet towel. So I actually prefer to, well, okay, so this is my favorite file, Sally's again. These are not like the $1 or $2 files. These are the ones that are gonna be like $9 or $10, but they are gonna last you forever. How am I gonna do this? Let's see. So I prefer to do a dry file first before you soak your feet and get them wet. Okay, I have gotten the help of my family here. You gonna help us out? Okay, so this is not the best lighting, but my problem area is right here and then on my heels and sometimes on this side. So you're gonna take your file and you're gonna start with the rougher side, which this actually down here will show you. So the bumps on this one particularly, you're just gonna start on the calloused area. You guys do not hit the soft part of your foot because that will hurt. So you're just gonna go through all the areas. What is Mama doing, baby? No, don't climb in. And then you can go back through with the softer side. And that kind of buffs out the scratchy stuff that you left in the harder side of the file. So as you can see, the callus is still there, but it's not as white and dry. So we got a lot of skin on. Okay, so what I've done so far is I just got my file wet. You don't actually have to have your feet soaking wet. If you guys feel like it works better for you to do this in the shower, that's how I actually do maintenance, is I'll keep this in the shower and just kind of run it over my feet here and there. This just works really well to do the dry first, and then to run over with a wet file is real simple if you don't have that callus remover that we used on the fingers. That is what I would also use to do a soak on your heels. All right, so your foot file is wet. And again, you're gonna start with the rougher side of the file. And you guys, you don't have to take your calluses completely off. So that was with the rough side. Now we're gonna go back through. Thank you. With the soft side of the file. And just work our way around anywhere that you feel might need it. See how it's, yeah. Just kind of coming off in sheets now. Sometimes you can get a lot more skin off when your feet are dry as opposed to having soaked them. So my last years as doing pedicures, I quit soaking the feet first. I would do that after. And I would do this whole process, and it just made such a big difference in the outcome for people. So then, watch baby, watch. So you can take your file on those areas that we got with the fingernail file, or if you've got little bits of skin on the backs of your toes. So you guys, I could literally probably keep doing this for like 45 minutes. And it would just keep coming because I have not maintained it. But once you get that done, a little sugar scrub or salt scrub that skin off, and then a nice lotion, and you're done. Stylin' Pedi socks. I don't like my feet to be cold, so this is what I've got on until my polish dries. And then you've got your toe separators. You can use cotton, whatever works for you. So this is called Sticky by CND or Creative Nail. And this is your base coat. You've got your polish. I like the CND Vinyl-X. I feel like it doesn't get thick and it kind of lasts a little better than OPI. And then I love this top coat. It's called Air Seal Gel Effects Top Coat. And then any sort of polish remover or acetone, something without oils in it, is what you're going to want to use to prep your nail bed. So prep work is the key in getting your polish to stick. And then this handy dandy little polish holder, which you'll see me using in a minute, the lint-free gauze pads, and your orange wood stick. So my toenails have been buffed. There's no oil on them, no lotion. All right, we're gonna start with some polish remover or acetone on your gauze, and you want to really clean the nail bed really well, not only to remove oils, but any dust from when you were buffing or anything that may have gotten on them in the hours in between when you prepped them and when you sat down to polish. So what I like to do is kind of turn that inside out or upside down and do them twice. And then you are going to take your clean and dry nail brush, and this is going to get any lint from your lint-free gauze pad, because there is always lint no matter which kind you buy. And and that kind of helps dry the corners and edges really well. When you are polishing, you don't want to start at the very, very, very base. You want to start about 3/4 of the way down with your brush and wait for the polish to kind of spread off the brush, and then gently push it back and pull it forward into the sides. So you're going to start right there and then kind of push it back. Let it spread out naturally on the brush. Looks green, but I promise this stuff will not dry green. So you're going to start, kind of push it back. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's always a good idea to just rest your hand that's using the brush, the polish brush. I'm kind of resting it on my foot. If you try and go at it without resting on anything, you will end up being really shaky. If you are someone who is super active, see, I got some on my skin, no big deal. If you are someone who are super active, you run, work out a lot, it works really well to put a base coat in between your coats of color. So your first coat really is like your foundation for what the second coat will go on, either smooth or not. Like, you want to spend your time more so on the first coat. It's like using a primer when you paint walls, which I absolutely hate using a primer. I always feel like it's a waste of time, but it's not. If you want to do that second, I'm not going to do it tonight, but you would go on, do your other foot, and that would allow this time to dry right here. And then you would put a coat of your sticky on next and let that dry, and then your second coat of color. It seemed to make a really big difference for my clients who were super active. And see, since we really got a good foundation with that first coat, we don't have to spend as much time working on the second coat. See how that polish holder is just a game changer? Those things are like, I don't know, $1 or something. totally worth it, especially if you've got little girls who like to paint their nails too. And you don't want to do thick coats. I think that's where people have trouble with their polish fully drying, is when they get too many coats, or too thick of coats on. Take your clear coat, your top coat, put it on, and you're gonna kind of go along the edges, or just the top edge. The free edge is what it's really called, technically. And I like to refer to that as capping your polish. So kind of helps just put that clear coat along the edge there, so that when you are walking and running, and kind of helps keep them from chipping so badly. You can kind of do that with your color coat too, especially if you have thicker toenails. So after your polish is dried about 10 minutes, a really thin coat of oil will help your polish dry faster. They actually make a spray, a quick set spray that has some almond oil in it, and I really do think that makes a world of difference.
Okay, Leanne, I enjoyed that so much. I know everyone else did. And I just feel so like relaxed and at peace. So thank you so much for that. Was wonderful. And I know how much work that was for you to do, and how long that probably took you. And we're just so grateful, and our toes and our fingers are grateful too. Getting a little tearful. I am in my bed because I was feeling so relaxed, I decided to lay down. But thank you so much, Leanne, and thank you all, dear friends, for being here this evening. And we love you all, and hope you have a lovely evening. Good night.